It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back, and look who I have here with me today. The guy who knows it all about TLC. Max, I'm sort of your hype man over here. The Celeb guy. Welcome back.
Hey, what's up, Adam? Thanks for having me back on. I appreciate it.
Man, always. If I ever want to know anything about TLC or if I just want a good laugh, I always go to your Instagram and I read or watch what you have going on. And I have to say, one of the most hilarious, it's funny as hell, things that you do is when the show's actually playing, you post like these little photos and you're like, you know, whatever your comments are, but they have me dying. And the other day when I asked you if you could join me, I was like, man, what's with this? Is this a mullet? And I just wanted to ask you about it because I can celebrate a good mullet. You know, I lived in Tennessee for quite some time. I got a little bit of flack and people were like, that's not nice, you know? And I'm like, what do you mean it's not nice? I had a bowl cut for 7 years. That wasn't nice. So yeah, we can talk about a mullet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hilarious, man. I know that's the haircut up there, I guess, because Tamara's got the same one. Mike's mom has it. Everyone up there has that same haircut, apparently.
I'll die if we get Mike and Natalie back one day and Natalie's rocking the mullet. I will die. But with that, I brought you back to talk about the tell-all, and I wanted to ask you a few questions about Happily Ever After, which we'll get to here in a little bit. Before we do, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, show some love, and I say let's jump right in.
Let's do it, yeah.
All right. So one couple in particular that kind of caught me off guard coming into this reunion was Brandon and Julia. Brandon is always pretty quiet, right? He doesn't have much to say, but Julia came in kind of guns a-blazing. Like she was ready to tear shit up.
Yeah, she was. I think she's kind of in on the drama. I hate to get all behind the scenes stuff, but I feel like because she's going to be on Happily Ever After, it's probably like her job. I think she's all for the TV stuff. She enjoys it. And so I think the producers probably told her, they gave her a little push, be extra dramatic, be extra pushy. And I think Julia's just all for it. She was having a great time. They gave her a ton of airtime.
They did give her a ton of airtime, but they also sort of exposed her a little bit.
They did, yes.
With this whole apartment situation, I felt so bad for her because I'm watching the show and I'm like, listen, some of us have overbearing parents. I have a really close relationship with my parents. I mean, not like that, but you know, so you don't want to be too judgmental. But then as you're watching it, you're like, man, these parents kind of suck when it comes to living in the same house with your spouse. Like there's so many rules. You can't bring her tea in the morning. Yeah. You have to tend to the farm. It's really, they can't sleep in the same room. I was like, Julia's sort of a victim here.
Yep.
And we find out she's not.
She's not at all. And she got exposed in two ways. The first thing was Brandon had apartments ready to go. She didn't like them. They weren't up to her standards. And we did find out too that she was doing his work because Brandon's schedule was he would go to work and then he'd come home from work and then do the farm work. I didn't realize that she was doing his work. So then when he got home from work, he could spend time with her. I thought they both had chores in the farm, but that apparently she was just making up for him. So I don't think anyone was really forcing her per se to work on the farm. It was more just someone had to do it, whether it be Brandon or Julia. And Julia was like, well, I'll just do it so I can see him after he's done with work.
And that seems like a fair compromise, even though you don't like the farm and that's not necessarily what you signed up for. Indirectly, it sort of is. If you didn't like the apartment, you could have taken the apartment and been free of the farm. I know. And you could have just had your life, taken your 90 days, not worked, waited for your guy to get home, and you would have been left alone, no parents, no nothing. Same room, everything she wanted. And she sort of messed it up for herself.
It never got brought up. I never once knew that he said he had apartments ready to go and he had a house or houses he was looking at buying property. Never once got brought up that was even in question. I don't know if it was a complete dump. I don't know the situation, but it still is like, geez. That makes me believe, well, the producers probably just cut it out and they didn't want it in the show because it's like that was their big storyline was this whole house and the parents. And so I wouldn't be shocked if they kind of made them stay a little bit, but it's still like, why did that never get brought up until now?
I think the same thing. And, you know, at first I was like, well, that apartment must have been absolute garbage if she didn't want to stay in it. But then I'm thinking in my head, well, Jovi got a great apartment, a nicer apartment than the nicer place than what I have. I mean, sure, it's a little bit smaller, but when he got it for them, he was only anticipating it being the two of them, and she came in and kind of ripped it apart.
Yeah,
so
I know.
What are the standards here?
Yeah, I don't know. I know everyone has these crazy standards. I don't think any people make a lot of money. Like I don't know what Jovi makes. Maybe decent money, but it's still like he has all these expenses now. Now he's a baby. Yara didn't like any of it. Okay, yeah, Brandon, same thing. It's like all these people. Even Mike was the same thing. Natalie hated his place. He was in a ton of debt. All these people had these crazy, ridiculous standards, and I don't know why. Because it's like they're coming here. I would assume the quality of living's better, maybe not, but it's like it's just really bizarre, I would say.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too, you know, like I've never been to Russia, the Ukraine, or the Philippines, and I'm just wondering in my head, what is the standard? Or do they have this sort of cotton candy idea of what America is when they come over here? They see it on the TV screens, they see this whole different lifestyle in the movies, and they're like, yes, it's going to be so glamorous. And then they get there and you have Uncle Bo sitting on the couch.
I know. You know? I know. Not, I don't know one part of America that's as glamorous as everyone thinks. It's just everyday life, you know, it's like normal life. So no, I agree. Yeah, it is just, I don't know. I think it's a mix. People think it's going to be a lot better than it is. And I think they just have, I don't know, super high expectations.
No, I agree. But moving on from Brandon and Julia, I want to talk about Yara and Jovi really quick because they had a baby. And I was sort of shocked to watch the baby special, kind of how they turned that into a baby special for Yara and Jovi towards the end. Yep. And I don't know about you. I started off this season really not liking Yara. I thought she complained about everything. There was no way to make this woman happy. What are you doing here then? And she swayed me. Now I'm sort of team Yara, and I'm like, Jovi, get your shit together.
I know. I'm the exact same way. It's funny. I don't know if I told this last time, but I have a friend who lives right by them. She has seen them film a million times, and she claims, I don't know how true it is, but she claims that they kept pushing Yara to do it over, do the scene over, do it over, do it over. And she was just getting so frustrated. She was taking it out on Jovi. And to me, that kind of makes sense because like you were saying at the beginning of the season, she was always ornery. She was mad. She was never happy. But then I feel like towards the end, we were starting to see the real Yara, that she does actually love Jovi. And I think, honestly, it was just the long film days. She was frustrated. She was probably kind of homesick. Jovi was doing dumb stuff. She was getting mad at him. But now they had the baby. She's like more in love with him now than ever because he's helping with a baby. And so I love Yara. I think Yara, she tells it like it is. She can kind of be a little bit stuck up. But for the most part, I kind of actually like her. And Jovi, he's just you know what? He needs to grow up a lot. I think he really needs to tone back the partying. And he's just so immature.
He's a big man, baby.
Yeah.
And, you know, watching too, and part of the baby special where we see she's making an effort to bond with his parents because she needs someone there for her while she's pregnant. She's going to these appointments on her own. She has his friends who are telling her about these strippers and, oh, are you sure you want to marry Jovi? Jovi's not going to settle down. And then her whole wedding weekend in Vegas turns into kind of a friends trip. She really put up with a lot.
Yeah, she did. She's really not a bad girl at all by any means. I just think Jovi, something about him, that whole bachelor party thing, it pisses her off and it pisses me off. It's like, dude, grow up. He's not young by any means. It's not like he's 21. I think he's like 28, 29. So, and he has a kid. So that to me, and then I think his mom is so sweet and so nice, and she probably babied the heck out of him. And so that doesn't help the situation. We saw a couple scenes where they were getting ready for the baby and the mom was helping. And I don't know if you heard, but she was like doing their laundry. She was doing all this stuff. And I just think Jovi's so spoiled. He's a spoiled brat. But I don't hate him completely like some other cast members, but I do think he has a lot of growing up to do.
Wait a minute. So I want to use this as a nice little segue because you said hated him as much as some other cast members.
Yeah.
Could this be one of them?
He is partially. It's a 50-50 split. He is one of them. Okay. And I don't. Okay, I hate to use the word hate. I greatly dislike the things I see on the TV show with him, and it's equally the same with Amira. I can't stand either of them. I don't know why everyone is either like, some people are just diehard Team Andrew or Team Amira. What is that? Like, I don't understand what there is. Andrew, it appears to me on the show, did a bunch of crap that he should not have done, and he said stuff he shouldn't have said that was incredibly rude and not nice. Amira, it appears to me, wanted to come on the show for fame, and I think she was using Andrew for money. And I just think she was, I don't know, she probably was maybe even talking to other men behind his back. And she had no interest in the guy from the start. That is my opinion. So I think two wrongs don't make a right, but I don't like either of them. I think they're both just like not a fan. I just did not get a good vibe from either of those people.
Wow. Wow. So you're kind of saying she's kind of like a damsel in distress over there, but really not.
Yeah. Oh, I think I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the Mexico thing was probably crazy traumatic. Going to Serbia probably was traumatic too. I wouldn't have been comfortable, so I get it. But it's still like I have seen things on social media with Amira. I had Andrew's mom come on my channel. I've heard things from her, and I know she has a horrible rap with the comments she made too. Don't get me wrong, but I just think Amira's holding a lot back, and I think she's just making up this story because and now she's acting like she's, buddy with all the 90 Day Fiance cast and their one big happy family. And to me, it gives me a vibe that she just came on the show for fame. Now, maybe that's not a bad thing. I just hate when people do stuff like we saw it with Soulja Boy a couple seasons ago, Usman, with Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
He never liked her. He wanted fame. And to me, it was annoying. And so I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I think she's really kind of telling this sob story just to get attention. So everyone kind of likes her.
I mean,
maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right. And I think that you're right. There's a sort of a trend here because Brittany did it with Yazan, right?
Yeah.
So you have some of these people who they see the sort of celebrity that maybe someone like Big Ed might get, or Colton Debbie. They've been around for a while. Larissa's making buku bucks on OnlyFans, so they might look at this like, oh, this is my chance. I can get my music out there. I can do something. I don't really know what Amira wants to do, but to say that somebody wouldn't do something for fame, that would be a very silly statement. So,
yeah, I know. Yeah, and the thing is, I just wish she would have been more real. Some of the stuff I heard from Andrew's mom, and who knows, maybe it wasn't true. I don't know. But some of the comments, like she never really had a job. Andrew was constantly giving her money. He was funding her whole life. She wasn't going to school. She wasn't doing anything. And it's like, oh, I still to this day don't understand, why did she not get on the plane, come to America, come for a couple weeks? Andrew would have probably bought her a ticket back if she hated it so much, and just given it a shot. So like, to me, maybe the panic attack was real, maybe it wasn't. I have anxiety. I can relate to it. I get it. But it's like, why wouldn't you just get on the plane, give it a shot? If you did love this man this much, get on the plane. You know what I mean?
I have to ask you a personal question.
Yeah.
If you were in Amira's shoes, say you're Amira, are you jumping on a plane for this?
I don't know why she jumped on a plane in the first place for that guy. I've never understood what she saw. And that's my other comment from the beginning of the season. I looked at him. I looked at her. I hate to judge by looks or anything, but physically, we all can agree. Physically, she's more attractive. So I was like, why is she choosing him? She's not a bad-looking person by any means. What does she see in him? And that goes back to my comment where I think she was using him, whether it be for fame or money or something. Maybe she wanted a green card. I don't know. But I just think there was some using going on, because why would she want to be with him?
Right. Well, no, unless she's just like a hopeless romantic. But she's kind of alluding to the fact that this man is abusive without saying he's abusive. She's kind of making it seem like there's this very dark side of him that we don't get to see on camera. And she's playing it smart. She's like, I'm not going to out him, but there are certain things like there's a temper and
I would believe it. No, I think that could be true. That's what I'm saying. I don't like him. I don't like her. And it's like, I just don't think either of them are great people, to be honest. So I could see him having a temper. I could really see that. He seems like the kind of guy where he's really jolly, happy 1 second, the next second he's kind of going crazy. So I could see it. He shared on his Instagram like a week or two ago that the texts he sent were related to something completely different. I can't remember what. Oh, it was something like, Amira wanted to get money from 90 Day Fiance, and then she got a manager. And then after she said she got a manager, he sent those texts that we saw. I don't know if you saw them, but he sent these texts when she was in Serbia that were like really mean, saying, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. He was counting down. He was saying you have to make a decision. And they were acting like it was about her coming to America. But apparently Andrew's acting like it was a totally different topic. I have no idea if it's true. So I'm just kind of sitting here in the middle. Don't like him, don't like her. And we're done with them. We will never see them on 90 Day Fiance. For sure not him. She might kind of stick around, but he's done with 90 Day Fiance for sure.
Well, my last question about this couple before we move on, he obviously storms off the set because this is one thing that's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, because I love Bravo. I normally deal with Bravo, and I like to dabble in TLC too, but I hate when cast members sign a contract to film together and then they start putting in their own stipulations after filming, like they get to call the shots, almost like they're putting on their producer's cap. And I said this before, and I had a few subscribers and people comment on my channel and say, well, Adam, you don't know what sort of emotional abuse that she might have went through, or mental abuse. So if she's not comfortable being around him, then she shouldn't have to. But he also came up with a pretty clever solution. Don't show me on the camera. But that's not to say that he wouldn't chime in. Who's wrong?
Well, I think they should have muted him, cut his mic, and I think they should have not showed him on camera, and they should have let the guy sit there. It's like the dumbest thing. It's like he was okay sitting there, but also not showing him. Like, it just made no sense. He for sure would have chimed in. But I do agree. And the hilarious thing that now we kind of know, kind of a spoiler, I believe, is Andrew did say this morning that I guess we kept seeing his face. I don't know if you saw that on the tell-all. He kept making these little remarks and whatnot during, Jovi and Yara's clips and Brandon and Julia. And he said this morning that he was actually only there for Mike and Natalie's scene. And so they were just using his face for the other clips too. So the interesting thing is he must get in that car and he must actually go home, I guess, because it doesn't sound like he comes back.
Oof. Well, when you give somebody the option, or you tell the production company or the producers or whoever, you tell them how it's going to go, and you give them an ultimatum. Don't feel bad when they're like, okay, well, boot, scoot, and boogie.
I know. I would have loved to see them come together. I would want to see, honestly, if I was Amira, even though, like you were saying, it could be traumatic, it could be too much for her if it was really that bad. Then I get it, but I would have just loved to see her lay down her cards. He could lay down his. They could talk out their differences, and we could kind of really see, who's telling the truth. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I agree. Okay. Yeah. Well, I want to transition into a different couple. There's another couple that I'm sure I feel like this might be one of your favorite couples. And I've gotten to know you a little bit through doing these videos and talking to you. And I think I can see who you like and who you don't like. And who doesn't like this couple?
Oh my God. They are my most hated couple, debatably, besides Lisa and Usman. I don't know why I keep talking about them. Actually, no. Jeffrey, I didn't like him either. But no, I can't stand those two. Absolutely can't stand them. That was really weird, what we got to see with them. That was very bizarre for a couple reasons.
For a couple reasons. Why?
Well, number one is they're going on Happily Ever After. So they can't really spoil what is going on. So they had to come on and they had to give really vague answers. That's how I perceived it. They gave really vague responses because they can't tell us what has happened. They have been filming Happily Ever After since like May of 2020 to probably pretty close to present day. And this tell-all was filmed in like February. So they can't say what's been going on the last 7-8 months because we're going to see it on Happily Ever After. So they were kind of giving really vague answers. Natalie wouldn't say why her and Mike drove separate. I still to this day believe that Mike and Natalie had a baby. I could almost bet like hard cold cash they have a kid. I'm not for sure, but I've had like 4 people reach out to me saying that they're from the same town as Mike and Natalie, and they've seen Natalie with a baby. Now, she could be babysitting. I don't know. But to me, I bet you they had a baby. So that was like not in conversation if they did or did not. Now, it wasn't asked. What are they fighting about? That was really vague. Where's their relationship been? That's been really vague. There's a lot of stuff going on that they wouldn't talk about. And I feel like 90 Day Fiance wanted to hide it just because they're coming on another season in like a couple of days.
Well, wow. Okay. Yeah. So we obviously know coming up in the second part of the tell-all that there is this woman. Was that the hairstylist?
No. So what happened was at the last tell-all like a year ago, Mike was like the best man at his lady friend's wedding. She got married to a man. And because he was technically the best man for this woman he's friends with, I think he spent the night at her house, maybe in her bed or couch or something. And Natalie heard, and she was super upset and jealous and had trust issues. I, from the bottom of my heart, don't think anything happened just because it's like Mike just seems so casual and calm. Like, she was my friend. She was getting married. I was her best man. We were doing like a bachelorette party. I was there. That was it. And so this is the lady she was the big topic of the last tell-all last year. She's coming on. So it wasn't the hairstylist, just a friend of his. I think she's married. So I don't think it's going to be any drama. They just had her on. And Natalie, I think she has trust issues. That's all.
All right. That's fair.
Yeah.
Fair. I before we move on to the next couple, I just want to ask you one thing. Did you think that it was messed up that the mom tried to get Tamra to interject during the wedding and make sure that it didn't go through? Or do you think that's just sort of like a mama bear protecting her son and she wasn't there to do it? She heard her son's complaints and it was valid.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. She had, like you said, though, very valid. Like, I mean, like, I don't want to spoil it, but Spoiler alert, I can just vaguely say it doesn't sound like Mike and Natalie's marriage is working very well. That's all I'm going to say. And so it's like, and that's in present day. And so it's like more than likely at some point, Mike and Natalie will get a divorce. And so if honestly, she would have saved Mike all this heartache, all this financial burden now if she would have just jumped in the way and said, don't marry her. But I'm also one for being independent. I don't like when family members get in the middle of everything. So I think she would have she was kind of crossing a line, but still it's like they're going to get a divorce. So you would have saved this whole situation from ever even happening. So it's kind of just a double-edged sword either way you look at it.
Okay. All right. Fair. There's three other couples who are on here. I guess let's go to Rebecca and ZIED because Rebecca came and I thought she looked good. She's trying to look younger for her guy. He's bored in America. We don't really know what he's doing, but now all of a sudden he can afford liposuction for himself, which I don't understand because the guy doesn't have a job.
Cameo.
Oh, Cameo. Well, and I also heard that she quit the fast food restaurant because she makes all of her money on social media.
I didn't realize that, but her daughter Tiffany and her husband Michael came on my channel and they said she quit working at the fast food place and she just does, I guess, probably Cameo. She's been doing some promotions and advertisements for like the weight loss company she was working for, and I think she does a couple other ones on Instagram. But she quit her job.
Hey, if money's that good on social media, why not?
I know. Yeah, seriously.
Do you think this couple, because it's a questionable couple, right? Do you think with the age difference and him potentially wanting a baby one day, this being her fourth marriage, do you see this happening for a lifetime or no?
I hate that word, fourth marriage. Oh, that's so many marriages. But honestly, I see it like this. Rebecca is 49 to 50. Okay, she acts like a 30-year-old or like a 35-year-old. ZIED is like 27, 28, but he acts like a 34. I think he's pretty mature, kind of. He has a temper, though. And I think she's pretty immature. So they kind of even their way out, and I think they are in love. I think they do love each other, and they're kind of cute together, and they're joking around. Obviously, they're not actually like going to work and working in a stressful job. They're just doing social media. So that probably keeps their relationship pretty much at bay. They're happy. It's easy. It's fun. The problem I see with them is in about 10 years when ZIED is 30-something, he's going to want kids. He's great with kids. I think his family's going to want him to have kids. She can't have kids. That will be their roadblock. Now, if they will stay together or get a divorce, I don't know. But I wouldn't be shocked if in 7-8 years he leaves her and he stays in America, meets a young woman, and has a family.
Oh, okay.
It would be sad, but I would not be shocked whatsoever.
It would be sad, but I agree with you. I wouldn't be shocked either. One last question about Rebecca and ZIED. Rebecca's obviously, and I hate using this word, but she comes off a little insecure, right?
Yeah.
And she's on alert. She doesn't want to lose another man. God, that sounds awful.
I know.
But doesn't want to lose this man. But we were talking about her daughter Tiffany, right? Her daughter Tiffany's friend offering to give them the truck. Well, she was talking about her facial expressions and saying that she was being inappropriate and coming on to ZIED. To be honest with you, I know a good smirk when I see one. It seemed like she was a little flirty. That's what I got from it. She could have just been being nice.
But I think there's a lot more to that story. It sounded like from Tiffany, I asked her the same question and she said no. She claims she's been friends with this girl for years and years. She knows her type. It couldn't be further different looking than ZIED. Doesn't look anything like ZIED. And she just claims that was the Southern hospitality. She was being nice. Maybe it wasn't. I think what probably happened was she was kind of being nice. Maybe production asked her to ask the question. Maybe not, but she maybe just being nice. And then she was kind of smirking at a different, time in their conversation. And they used that smirk and they kind of clipped it all together to make it look like she was flirting with ZIED. Maybe that never even happened. Yeah,
that makes sense. Especially if they're cutting out whatever his name is. You know what I mean? And if they're cutting him out, then why not, right? So
no, okay. I think she was just, but the funny thing was Tiffany said my mom still to this day still thinks she was flirting with him. So maybe she was. We don't really know. But I think she's more kind of just nervous, insecure. And the girl's really cute. So she's probably just kind of felt weird about it.
I agree. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there was one last couple on this, on the floor here, technically, virtually.
Yeah.
Tariq and Hazel. And it kind of seems by the way that they're coming off like things aren't really the best right now. And have a theory about it. I think,
Mhm.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with polygamy or polyamorous
Mhm.
relationships. I think they can work. I guess if you have
Mhm.
some strong personalities who are very secure.
Yeah.
In my experience, I've had friends in LA who have engaged in multiple polyamorous relationships and they have never worked for them.
Yeah.
I think that could be the biggest downfall of this couple, but we didn't really get to see them talk a lot on this episode. So I'm guessing we'll get more from them on the second part of the tell-all. Do you
Yeah.
have an opinion on their relationship or if you think this will work?
I think it will 100% work. I think, honestly, though, Hazel's just interested in women. I don't think she likes men. Maybe not, but I think she saw Tariq as just her ticket to come to America. She had a very hard life in the Philippines. She was homeless at one point, very hard life. And Tariq has a huge heart, and he's willing to help her. And they've built this friendship over the years. And so that's what I think they have, just a friendship, nothing more. But she's willing to come here, and they're going to have this three-way relationship crap. But I don't. I think it's more just so she's friends with Tariq, and then she has a girlfriend, kind of a thing. I could be wrong. That's how I kind of perceived it. But I think they will definitely have that bond. Hazel, in her heart of heart, I think was a very good woman. Tariq is a good man too. They're a little different. I think, honestly, though, they're just a boring couple with very little drama. And they have nothing to talk about, but they're going to come back on the next tell-all with Minty, their ex-girlfriend or whatever, and they'll probably stir up some drama, but it's pretty boring for those two.
It is boring. It's boring. And one person who I was missing from this, just because I think that she comes off a little Looney Tunes sometimes, and I kind of like her quirkiness, which would be Stephanie.
Yeah.
Stephanie and Ryan, or Stephanie and Harris, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we know that Stephanie sort of Devin and Jihooned herself by speaking out against production and saying that this was one of the worst experiences of her life. She felt bad because she was under a lot of flack because people thought that she was so inebriated during filming. She said that she has a medical condition that after a certain time of day, I believe that her eyes get a little bit drowsy. And I said this before, and I had somebody comment, and they're like, Adam, I have the same medical condition, like, get a life. And I was just saying, all I was saying is, listen, the woman loves her wine. When she fills up her wine, she fills up like half a bottle. And of course, after a few of those, you start looking a little bit drowsy. So she might have a medical condition. Maybe she might have a different condition. I don't know what the hell it is. But the point is, she crossed the line by talking against production. It's like it's like when you're in Bravo and you go against Andy. You can't go against Andy. It's like father of Bravo. So for TLC, production is sort of the one person or the one group of people you can't really touch or expose. Do you think that is why she was not invited to the tell-all?
Absolutely. Yeah, there was no other reason. There was no other reason. She, you know what? This is the deal with Stephanie. Once again, she was on my channel. I don't know her really well, but the little I talked to her, she does make money. She makes a crap ton of money. She's not dumb by any means. She has that business mind. And she went on 90 Day Fiance, and what she was saying, they make you film for 12, 14, 15-hour days for basically pennies on the dollar. And she was just going on for publicity for her business, which is fine. And so she was just like, this is ridiculous. They don't want to give you any money. They just make you film and film and film. And she was sick and tired of it. And the little I have, my experience with filming on those similar TV shows and whatnot, the days are long. By the end of the 14th hour, you're exhausted. So she probably was drinking. She was probably freaking exhausted. I don't know if she was like, you were saying she has some medical condition. I have no idea. But I just think once she started talking about 90 Day Fiance and how they treated her and how they owe her money and all this stuff, she was just like done. They weren't going to let her come back on. She made some comments that Ryan did some god-awful things to her. And I just think they didn't want to get their hands in that mix. They've done it before with like Paul and Corinne. They've had some issues. They've come from the tell-all. And so I think 90 Day Fiance just says it'll be easier. We don't want to get mixed up with this. They cut off their relationship with her. And that is that. And so Stephanie, she's not putting up with it though. I don't know if she's actually going to sue, but she was talking about suing for a while. So we're going to see how that plays out.
Oof. Okay. All right. Before we wrap up this whole conversation about the tell-all, can you tell me what you're looking forward to most for the second part?
Well, I think we have some, I want to hear more from Mike and Natalie. I am dying to hear about Andrew and Amira. And that's about it, because Tariq and Hazel, God bless them, but I don't give a crap. Yara and Jovi, I think they're cute, but we've already kind of saw them a lot. And then Brandon and Julia, same thing. So am I missing anyone? No, I think it'd be Mike and Natalie,
Rebecca
Andrew and Amira. Oh, and Rebecca, yeah, same thing. They're happy. They're not going on the next season of Happily Ever After for a reason. There's no drama. Same with Tariq and Hazel. So it's like Rebecca and ZIED, I wish them well. I think they're happy. That's about it. But no, Mike and Natalie, I want to hear more about what's going on with their life. They probably won't tell us because they're kind of trying to keep it secret for the next season. And then Andrew and Amira, I am just so curious what Amira says, because we got to see after she has her little thing, Jovi behind the scenes says, is it just me or does anyone else think that everything that's coming out of Amira's mouth is a complete lie? So I'm kind of curious what she says, and I think that will be very interesting.
And that might have been the reason that she didn't want him in the same room, because she was coming there to tell lies. You never know.
That's all I'm going to say. I think so. I don't think it's all the truth. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. All right. Well, Max, we know that you're an extremely busy guy. So before I let you go, I asked you one question before we started, and it was because I couldn't find the information anywhere. And I don't know if I just have my head in the clouds or I'm living under a rock, but I was like, man, you have to know who the cast is for the upcoming season of Happily Ever After, the full cast. I've gotten
for sure.
Julia, Yara, and Jovi, but who's all coming on?
Yeah, they kind of kept it hidden because 3 of the 7 couples were on this last season, and we didn't know at the time if they were going to get married or whatnot. But we have Yara, Jovi, Brandon and Julia, Mike and Natalie, and that'll be very interesting. And then we have Michael and Angela, which that should be good. They're fun to watch.
Yeah,
and then we have Tiffany and Ronald, who they are more of an OG couple. It looks like Tiffany and her son and the baby actually do go to South Africa during the middle of the pandemic. So that'll be really cool to see how that plays out. There was kind of divorce rumors circulating, so that I'm really excited to see that. And they've been kind of quiet lately, so we're going to see them. And then last but not least, I believe would be Elizabeth and Andre and her entire family. And it's just a bunch of fake crap with them. But it'll be, I guess, kind of relatively fun to see.
Okay. All right. So we have a lot to look forward to. And I feel like by the time we get done with the current season, I'm over it at that point anyways. And I'm ready for the next season. So I'm looking forward to the second part of the tell-all and Happily Ever After. With that, I hope we can steal you again one day. I know your time is precious. And I thank you again so much, man.
Oh my God, this is so much fun. Sorry, I'm all casual and laid back, but I love coming on. I love talking 90 Day Fiance, any TLCs. If you ever want to talk about 1,000 Pounds, so they've been quiet, but Tammy and Amy Slayton on 1,000 Pound Sisters, and we got Married at First Sight, loved her lockups. If you ever want to talk about anything else,
by one of the sisters?
What's up?
Weren't you blocked by one of the sisters?
Oh my God, yes, Tammy. I know she just, I don't know what I did. I've been trying to get her to come on my channel for God knows how long, and she finally just got sick and tired of me and blocked me. But I tried, whatever, and I'm still trying. I think I'm still pretty confident. I think I'm going to be able to get her to come on. I don't know how, but I think I'm going to be able to pull that off. So
you're like relentless, making other Instagram accounts, and you're like, well, Before you go, can you let us all know where we can find you if we are living under a rock?
Hey, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, the Celeb Talk Guy. It's just as simple as that, the Celeb Talk Guy. I'm posting more on Instagram, like Adam said. So if you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, shoot me a follow, a subscribe, whatever it is. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and you guys will get a good laugh. And I'll also attach all the information in the description of this video. Max, thank you so much, and we hope to see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Of course. All right, guys. Well, that's Max, the Celeb Talk Guy. He's amazing on Instagram. I'm not even kidding. If you want a good laugh, go watch him, especially while he's watching the episodes. Guy is hilarious. And with that, go give him a follow, subscribe to his channel, and hit that like button. It helps everybody out. Also, if you haven't already, smash that like button on here. And I did want to say thank you to Marcella Booth Davis for the super chat. Hello, Adam. You are amazing. Keep up the good work. That's very sweet of you. Thank you guys for supporting. And thank you for Master Blackjack being in the room. Dear Dana, Kempire, we have everybody in here. So thank you to all of our mods. Thank you guys. We will be coming back on at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk Below Deck. So I look forward to it. We will see you guys so very soon. And guys, don't forget, when we come on for Below Deck, we recap Sailing Yacht with Jason and Femtero at the very beginning. But I want your questions. I want you guys to call in. Call in. Ask your questions. She's so spot on. If you're having something to do with relationships, finances, career, if you have questions about your family, what's going to happen, seriously, Femtero is right on the money. I don't brag about somebody unless I actually know, and I know. Okay? So with that, we'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Bye, 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 bye.